use it on Tuesdays and Fridays, and Chirilla and Caruana have to use it Wednesdays and Fridays, or whatever, Saturdays and Sundays. Unfortunately, that was not happening. And despite the assurances that I kept hearing, like the stateofchess.com, which came out, I think, end of March, there was an assurance that everybody would be using Procter in a few months. That's a direct quote. There was also an assurance that chess.com would be transparent about the challenges that it would be facing as it rolled Procter out universally. So I want to reiterate that I'm here to help this process happen as fast as possible. I'm not here to be yet another, part of the screaming hordes that are telling the fair play team, you must catch all the cheaters, yet you must not intrude at all on players' user experiences. I know that they have an impossible situation, and it kind of breaks my heart that that anybody would think of me as, appearing intransigent or doing a power trip when the situation is so kind of emotionally charged to begin with. That's not it at all.
Just so I understand, because I haven't used Procter. What makes it so difficult, or what makes it so negative towards your play during the tournament?
So first of all, I'm not advocating that people do this, but anybody can install it and try it out. The first thing, of course, and again, I'm going to try to be very fact-based here. I'm not suggesting that any of these things, if taken alone, are a big deal. Absolutely not. And even taken together, they're a fairly small deal unless you are competing for like the top prizes, and every one of these things is seriously felt. The first thing is that, of course, you have to start getting ready early because you cannot join the tournament like I used to. I roll out of bed at 10:58 and I either join it from bed or like click the button as I'm like opening my other eye. You have to get dressed because you have to enable your camera. Well, you don't have to get dressed, but then you've got, Salim from Istanbul or Boris from Karaganda, looking at your junk in the morning, and that's not in my bingo card. So you kind of have to start getting ready early. That's not always possible. So I missed probably 5 or 6 Title Tuesdays and Freestyle Fridays total because I simply wasn't home by the time I had to start getting ready. Of course, also Procter has sometimes bugged. So there was one time where I tried to join it and it said mic not detected. Now, I know you guys are thinking, that sounds like Danya, but I had 3 mics connected. I was trying my laptop mic, and it was auto-closing the browser. And I started kind of freaking out in the game chat. I was able to join that particular tournament, but obviously that kind of thing in various manifestations has happened a few times. Then the playing experience itself. It's a little bit laggy. It has always been a little bit laggy. I have a pretty high refresh rate. Obviously, I have a gaming monitor, so the pieces are kind of buttery smooth. Through Procter, when you're also live streaming, it's a pretty heavy strain on your computer. And on my laptop...
It's stuck in the mud, yeah?
It's stuck in the mud, but very slightly. I mean, very slightly, but I'm a bullet addict and everything, and I can feel that. And finally, when you open Procter, you see that there's a chat message, there's a chat box through which the Procter person can communicate with you. And if you do not have your second camera properly aimed at your monitor and your main camera enabled, they will not hesitate to let you know about that and ask you to correct that at any point, sometimes during the game, sometimes when I have 1 point out of 3 and it's clear that I'm not trying to break the rules. So there was a feeling there that you're, Johnny who's timed out on the playground, and, if you're not behaving properly, you're going to be in trouble. And finally, if your second device disconnects, so let's say my phone is not charging while it's acting as a second camera and it dies. Like when your seatbelt isn't fastened in new cars and it starts beeping and you think the car's going to explode, there's a big red message that comes out. Yeah, go on.
The second device is part of the proctoring process.
It is.
Because this
you
is
scan
not
a QR
something
code.
that most of the players need to have. Actually, most of the players don't need to have their cameras on during Title Tuesdays. So people that are proctored need to have 2 cameras at the same time.
Well, your phone is the easiest. It's the easiest device to use as a second camera. So once you select your mic and your first camera, a QR code comes out. You have to scan that QR code with your second device, select the phone camera or the iPad camera, and then for the first couple of months, I was very obedient and I was like putting the second camera where I was supposed to. I will admit that as my frustration grew, and as my sort of sense that me following the rules to the letter is not concretely leading to improvements. As that sense grew as well, I would like put my second camera just on the little step ladder that I would be using, and it would just be looking at the ceiling, and I sometimes ignored requests to adjust my second camera. That's just your second camera, and if that phone dies, it's going to start flashing this warning that you must reconnect your second device. Last thing, if you are using your phone during the tournament and you like briefly X out, or not X out, if you like, let's say check your text messages and then return to the like Procter application on the phone, it's going to tell you off about it. It's going to be like, please do not exit out of the application while it's open. Like, I'm sorry, but I want to read my mom's text messages. You know, I'm not trying to like make sure Stockfish is working properly. I'm trying to make sure, you know, I know when to come over for dinner.
So the user experience isn't too great. That's a hindrance to your play. Mm-hmm. And your assumption was also that at some point other players would be asked to, or most players or all players, or what were you thinking would be the progression of the system?
Yeah, so there were several sort of progressions, possible progressions that I thought would be valid. Now, again, I think that it would not be very interesting to litigate the extent to which it's a hindrance to play. I think that much, as far as I understand, is uncontroversial. And chess.com knows this, everybody knows this, but you're asking the sort of leaders of the community to take one for the team and to understand that you're doing something for the greater good. And I accept that unconditionally, that if this is important, and if this materially improves the anti-cheating algorithm, I am happy to accept those hindrances and accept not playing the occasional tournament if I'm seeing that there is a very clear date at which everybody will accept those hindrances. So I thought that indeed in a few months, everybody would have to use Procter. And I saw that the attendance had gone down significantly. I saw that there were a lot of players sort of complaining that Procter wasn't working well in some countries, or, you know, their computer wasn't able to handle the load. And you know, chess.com was honest about the fact that it would hit certain issues as it rolled it out for everybody. Again, I received the email in February. The state of chess.com was in March. By April or May, I was like, all right, guys, well, it's time to either release an update as to what exactly is going on in terms of the overall rollout. Because again, if there was an honest accounting of the issues that were being faced, if chess.com was like, listen, guys, we did not expect that there was this, and this bug that we hit that we.
Okay, so you can find the full podcast by C Squared, and I'll give you the link. But I wanted to show you again, Daniel Naroditsky is now trying to be in the Procter mode, but showing all the different problems that proctoring has. How do you all feel about proctoring, and any IT guru can tell us how it can be improved? Because it looks like it may seem to have lots of problems with the lag and the different countries involved and the different internet speeds and connections, and this being bullet or blitz even. So what are your thoughts on this? And again, you want to hear the whole interview, please go to C Squared, and they will have the whole interview for your listening pleasure. Thanks for watching.